Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Rule 34 podcast. I'm your host, Jack, joined by my fellow co-host. Alright, so, it's been about a week. We had to take a break last week because Dominic had midterms, correct?
Yes, sir.
How did those go, if you feel comfortable talking about it?
I think I barely passed them with like a C.
Hmm.
But I'm not comfortable at all with where I am standing academically.
Hmm.
I mean, so far the midterms they felt pretty easygoing, but I don't feel like my grades are gonna reflect that. The grades haven't yet to be posted, except for one class, which is my astronomy class. I barely passed the midterm for the time being, so I guess I'm okay. But for the other class that I've taken a midterm for, I haven't received my grades yet. But so far, I feel like I did great on them. But I guess we'll see. And yeah, how about you, Jack? How's college going for you, boss?
I'm hanging in there. Like I was mentioning to Dominic beforehand, I kind of screwed up by taking, not really screwed up by taking general eds, because, you kind of use that to, just kind of see if you can find something you're interested in, especially for someone like me who doesn't really know what they want to do as far as career-wise. But, like, that also means that if I don't find interest in the classes, it's just like high school where I'm just sitting there learning the material but bored out of my mind and stuff, And it's much harder now because of it being online. There's so many there's more distractions now, Like It's not like where I'm sitting at the school for like 8 hours of my day, I'm sitting at home. It's like I think the biggest thing is that I finish the lectures, or I finish let's say some readings, or let's say I'm watching a lecture, finish it, and then once I'm done, it's not like a thing of, I have to sit here studying the work or doing the work, Instead I sit here and it's like I have some free time, so it's like, do I use it for studying? Do I use it to relax,
Yeah.
And I think that's the main issue, because there's a lot of times where I have, obviously I use the time where I need to do work to work, but there's also times I feel where, I forget about work, I guess you could say, because I've been working for so long. On Wednesdays are definitely my busiest days, because I wake up at 7, and then from 9 all the way till 12, I have one class, which is the lectures, and then the lab, because it's a science class. And then at 5 in the afternoon, I gotta go to a discussion for my art history class. But then I have days like Tuesday where I don't have any work, I don't have no classes and stuff, and it's I think to myself, I'm like, oh, maybe I should be doing some work. But then I feel like there's nothing really there to how would you say? Kind of there's nothing out there to kind of
encourage you?
More to stop me from using it as a rest day,
Oh, yeah.
Whereas, if you're in school, you're always doing something. But I see I have nothing on Tuesday, and I'm just like, okay, what's to stop me from, just taking a break,
Yeah, I agree. To build off what on you said, I feel like in-person classes, if the corona thing never happened, I feel like we'd be more on foot, more focused in class, because you can't really be dozing off, in a university setting.
Yeah.
So I feel like, if we were to be in person, I feel like we'd be more inclined to, retain more of the information that's thrown at us, compared to, we're at home, in a place where we're comfortable.
Yeah.
In our, our comfort zone, by our beds, or, by our desks.
Yeah, and another thing is, they like to either if the lectures are like pre-recorded or like they record them happening and then upload them later. What's to stop people from saying, "Oh, I'll just watch it later,"
Exactly.
Or if I miss
Exactly.
something, I'll look back at it later. Compared to as, you know, we're sitting in the class. I gotta get this information down now because, you know, I'm not gonna get this lecture again.
Yeah.
And I will say to finish off, I will say, I do think a big issue is that, at least for me, I want to see if you feel this. You like when it comes to school. Have you gotten used to the fact that like you always need to be doing something? Whether it's
Uh,
doing like some type of either homework, assessment, studying, stuff like that.
well, through all the work that I've been through, I've surprisingly found a lot of free time to do like things and stuff like that.
Mm.
Like, which is really odd to me because it's just some points in time where I just don't do anything for an entire 3 hours, and I end up just finishing my homework like at like what around 1 in the morning, which I'm already getting used to and stuff like that. Sleeping really late.
Yeah.
So I think it's just my habit of just of I guess spacing out things that allows me to give me a lot of free time, even though I feel like I should be doing a lot of work
See, I'm
or like a lot of studying, a lot of work when I'm not.
I'm
If
glad
that
you
makes
worded it
sense.
this way because this is what I was gonna say before we get into today's topic. Do you ever feel like you get like these like long amounts of time of just free time? Let's say like you have a lecture in the morning, and then you do a lot of the work for that like some of the classes, so you finish like let's say at like 2, right?
Right.
So then it's like from 2 to whatever time you go to sleep, you have all the free time, right?
Yeah.
And this is something I always experience. Even though that's free time, I always feel like it's not because school is implementing such a like this paranoia in me, that I should be doing something despite me having free time. I don't know if you feel that way, but like as you were saying, it's like I can get all these hours of free time and like I seriously won't feel like I have that free of time, like I c-
Yeah.
there's days where I finish my work before 12. So it's like from noon all the way to essentially 11, 12 at night, because that's usually when I try and get to sleep. That's my free time. And you're like, oh, you could use all that time to play video games, do art, uh, brainstorm ideas for the podcast, all this stuff, right?
Right.
But then I would say I spend maybe, if not all that time, at least half of that time just laying down, either doing nothing or on my phone, because I have this paranoia that I should be doing some type of work when there is no work to be done, and then I end up wasting the time just doing what I said I was doing, because I had that paranoia that I didn't have the free time that I actually had.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the most difficult part about school. They always say time management and stuff, and like not procrastinating, which is also a big issue, or not a big issue, but like a good thing to work on. But it's like I think the main thing is getting past that mentality that I think school has implemented in us, in the fact that when you have free time, utilize it.
Yeah.
Like if you've already used time to do not only the work from the class and attend the lecture and stuff, but also study and stuff, then guess what? If that time you have, you're no longer doing any of that stuff, take it as much as you can, because there's not really a guarantee that you'll get that much free time again.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah.
or you were saying?
I mean, I just wanted to also say that it's like I just wonder when I would ever like. I mean, aside from school, I mean, there's also the entering the workforce and stuff. Like some people work like 9 to 5 jobs, or like jobs that start like early in the morning, and they have all this free time to do in the afternoon and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like that mentality of feeling like they have to do something, even though when they're they have all the free time in the world, but they're still worried. I feel like that sort of mentality still transfers when entering adulthood,
Yeah.
when you have a job and
Yeah, and you see a lot of
stuff
people
like
end
that.
up getting like a second job at that point, you know, just so they
Exactly.
can
Yeah.
feel that they do something. Which is why I'm saying, you know, people need to learn that there is such thing as free time, you know, because I'm not saying it's a bad thing, you know, if you want to make extra money and you want to feel like you're using your time like wisely and being useful with your time, then go ahead and get a second job. But like I personally kind of think it's unhealthy, you know, because like
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but that's the kind of I don't know what I want to go into, but what I hope at least is that I go into a career where once I'm out of my work shift, I don't have to worry about work carrying over, you know?
Yeah.
The moment I clock out, there's no work, you know? Like
Yeah.
the only time you
Yeah.
have to worry about work is the next day when you go back to clock in, you know? That's what I want, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to have to be taking work home and stuff. If I'm able to get home by 5 and then from 5 to like what 11, that's 6 hours of my own free time. I'd be glad, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
you know, I what would you say is something what is most of your free time spent doing, Dominic?
I mean, the majority of my free time, I'm just sitting around, just looking at YouTube. You know, mindlessly just watching YouTube videos, like on like whatever topics, or something. I'm doing my homework. Usually, I'm doing my homework. Sometimes I have like these projects, like these data science projects, like take me hours to do. Sometimes I'm doing like a quiz, because usually every Wednesday I have like a calculus quiz to take, which kind of sucks, but I mean, I guess it keeps us motivated to keep retaining the info. Um, sometimes, I mean, sometimes I'm trying to learn a bit of Japanese here and there. Sometimes on my free time, I'm just exercising, or you know, taking long walks here and there, I guess. But mostly on my free time, I'm just basically spending my time just to do my own thing. That's pretty much it.
I'd say I'm similar, you know, spending a lot of my free time on YouTube and stuff again, because like I said, you know, it's kind of hard for me to utilize free time. But I will say the one thing I definitely utilize the most with my free time is listening to music. At least
Same,
as a way of
same.
de-stressing. And I bring this up because that ties into today's topic. Dominic and I are going to be arguing with one another about which streaming service is better, Apple Music or Spotify. Dominic, what side are you taking?
I will be taking the Spotify application.
I will be taking Apple Music. And I bring a more interesting side because I've used both. Alright. So let's set a basis, Dominic. What do you want to just throw out? Do you just want to speak about what's better and see if the other person has a counterpoint to it?
I think that could be a fair way to start off, yeah.
Alright. So I'm going to start off with the main reason why I choose Apple Music over Spotify. And this is probably an issue that is only for myself because I'm the only person that knows. I'm the only person I know that does this so much. But playlist making. I choose Apple Music over Spotify because Spotify decides it's going to be super hard to make a playlist. And you ask yourself, what do you mean? It's simple as of adding a song. Yeah, sure. But, you know, for some people it's just adding a song. But as Dominic knows with me and my love for music, I have way more than just a couple songs that I listen to, you know? And I always find this issue because I always like to make different playlists with different themes. Spotify, you have to add song by song, you know? Like,
Right.
there isn't really a way. Like, when you go and create a new playlist and you put add songs, I think it will show you the songs that you have